الخليفة الثاني ازداد عدد المشتركين حتى في سنة 1932 كان عدد المشتركين 20,000. في 1946 قبل الهجرة من قاديان إلى ربوة عند تقسيم الهند والباكستان، كان قبل الهجرة عدد المشتركين، عدد الحضور في الجلسة السنوية 39,000. فبعدها طبعا انتقل المركز لربوة، وهناك كان أعداد أكبر وأكبر في الجلسة السنوية.
On the 10th of March 1954, a man managed to take his stand in the first line of worshippers, immediately behind Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II, while he was leading the afternoon service in the Mubarak Mosque in Rabwa. When Hutur got up to leave after the prayer, the man suddenly advanced upon him from his rear and drove the blade of a long, sharp knife into his neck with murderous force.
As a Muslim, after the attack on him a number of years prior, came to the UK, came to Europe in 1955, and with him was a small entourage. Perhaps one of the main purposes of the visit was for his health, was to see physicians in Europe, in the UK, and to seek their guidance as well for his health. But foremost in Hazrat Muslim Anhu's mind was again the continued achievements and the continued propagation of Jamaat Ahmadiyya. And even prior to that, he never rested. But even coming to Europe, it was again always it was at the front of his mind. During his short visit, he visited many mission houses, gave a lot of valuable advice to the missionaries who were based over here. One of the things that transpired at that time, that took place at that time, was a conference of missionaries who were based in Europe. It was easier for them to get together. And a lot of new ideas were put forward in this conference. All the missionaries who came together not only had the benefit of sitting with Hazrat Muslim Anhu, seeking his advice and guidance, but also a lot of new suggestions were given whereby preaching, whereby spreading the message of Ahmadiyyat could be increased and spread at a much faster pace than before. And some of these were adopted as well. Another key aspect of this visit was also the meeting with members of the Jamaat at that time. In certain areas, there were some very old families of the Jamaat who were based either in the UK and some families in Europe, on the continent, mainland that is as well. And I had an opportunity to meet with Hazrat Muslim Anhu. And so after all of these, after a stay of a few months, then Hazrat Muslim Anhu returned to Pakistan in September of 1953.
Another brilliant accomplishment by Hutur is the initiation of the Hijri Shamsi calendar.
It is based on the solar calculation system, but for each month a very appropriate name has been given which is related to some very outstanding incident in the history of Islam. So in this way he gave new names to all these months of the year and calendar, and they always indicate to something very important happening in the history of Islam. Like the names are, for example, Sulah, Tabligh, Aman, Shahadat, Hijrat, Ihsan, Wafa, Zuhur, Tabuk, Ikha, Nabuwat, Fatah. These are the 12 names, and they are according to the normal calendar. 12 months are there, and based on the solar calculations.
His books and pamphlets, which number more than 200, show him to be an eminent divine, a discerning mystic, and an expert analyst of eternal verities. On the 27th of December, 1957, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II initiated a blessed project called the Waqf Jadid. The primary objective of this project was to expand the missionary work, to educate and impart religious training to the rural population inside Pakistan.
ये करीबन आखिरी उम्र की हुजूर की ये तहरीक थी, तहरीक वक्फ़े जदीद, जो आपने आखिरी उम्र में की। और उसके लिए भी आपने ये नहीं कि उसमें कोई कमज़ोरी नज़र आती है या बुढ़ापा नज़र आता है, बल्कि उसमें आपने यहाँ तक फरमाया कि इस तहरीक के मतलब इसके मुफीद होने के मतलब मुझे इतना यकीन है कि अगर मुझे इसके लिए अपने कपड़े और अपनी जायदाद बेच के काम करना पड़े तो मैं वो भी करूँगा। इतना इतना जज्बा और जोश था उसमें।
Hudur appointed Sahibzada Mirza Tahir Ahmad as its first director, Nazim Irshad. Waqf Jadid proved to be the last initiative put before the community by Hudur.
المسيح محمد عليه السلام تلقى نبوءة أو نبوءات حتى بخصوص أولاده، وخاصة المصلح الموعود. هناك نبوءة طويلة في اللغة العربية، لكن مضمون هذه النبوءة أنه سوف يبارك له بذريته، وأنه سوف يعطيه نسلا كثيرا، وقال يقطع آباؤك ويبدأ منك. ورأينا أن في بشكل خاص ما يتعلق بالمصلح الموعود، يعني الله سبحانه وتعالى وفقه بأن خدم الجماعة 52 سنة، وأيضا من أولاده الابن الأكبر مولانا ناصر أحمد الذي أصبح فيما بعد الخليفة الثالث للجماعة، وأيضا الخليفة الرابع رحمه الله حضرة ميرزا طاهر أحمد، وأيضا من بنته جاء أيضا، ومن أخوه يعني بنته وابن أخوه جاء الخليفة الخامس حضرة ميرزا مسرور أحمد. فهذه البركات رأينا أن من أولاده، من أولاد المصلح الموعود الخليفة الثاني، ومن بناته أيضا جاء الخلفاء ورجال الذين حصلوا على مناصب عليا في الجماعة وخدموا الجماعة بكل حب وتفاني، خدموا الإسلام في جميع أنحاء المعمورة.
The health of Khalifatul Masih II entered upon a prolonged process of slow but progressive decline, and the end came on the 8th of November 1965 at 2:20 a.m. His demise shook the movement to its foundations. Every member of the movement was overwhelmed with grief, the depth and intensity of which were beyond measure. The shock was bewildering and baffling. It seemed that the vacuum thus created would be hard, if not impossible, to fill. Everyone, however, realized that the divine will was supreme, and no human being was immortal. The members of the community converged in large numbers upon Rabwa for the purpose of seeking comfort and consolation, for each other's company, and to pay their tribute of love and devotion to the sacred memory of the Holy One who had guided the destinies of the movement for more than half a century, and had given freely of his love, sympathy and support to everyone, without discrimination. On the 9th of November 1965 at 4:30 p.m., Hadrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad, Khalifatul Masih III, led the funeral prayer. Almost 50,000 faithful who had converged upon Rabwa, having paid their last respects, joined in the funeral prayer. Huzur was later laid to rest in the Bahishti Maqbara, next to Hadrat Amar Jan's final resting place. The death of Hadrat Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmad, Khalifatul Masih II and Muslim Maud brought to end a most eventful career, resplendent with far-reaching enterprises, leadership and guidance. A man of astonishing strength and unending love, of versatile genius and dynamic personality. There was hardly a sphere of contemporary thought and life during the past half-century, from religious scholarship, missionary organization, and even political leadership, on which Hadrat Muslim Maud did not leave the deepest of imprints.
जब कभी मौका